The Road to Macstock with Chris Cooke. This is MacVoices. This edition of MacVoices is supported by Notion, the best AI tool for work. Check it out at notion.com/MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, this time on the Road to Macstock, I'm really happy that we have the opportunity to talk to a first-time speaker as well as a first-time attendee. Chris Cooke is here. She's going to be presenting at Macstock. Chris, welcome. It's great to meet you. We have not met before, obviously, and so this is doubly fun for me.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure and honor to be here. I'm really appreciative of the invite and happy to share.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to share. Before we get to your topic, though, could you give us just a little bit of background since you're new, not just to the Macstock audience, but also to the MacVoices audience?
Sure. Thank you. Yes. I am new to a lot of things, but I'm very excited to be here. And I happen to be a person who is blind, and I'm sharing on an accessibility topic. So that gives me good experience to draw from. And I'm a tech nerd, love technology, have been interested and involved with technology, either teaching or learning for 35 years maybe, and just absolutely love it. And so I happen to be an instructor who teaches adults who are blind and teach them all the tech tools that I love and enjoy to make possible careers and jobs for them. So it's really a wonderful learning process, and I love my Mac and love all that it brings to my life and to my students. So,
Chris, that's fascinating because I would imagine, first of all, you said you've been teaching for 35 years. You've seen a lot of changes in technology and especially accessibility technology.
absolutely. I've been teaching for less time than that, but using all this stuff for a long, long time, and first started out with computers or little note takers that were made specifically for blind people, and then some really awesome technology that came out in the early 90s with a screen reader and a sound card and a way to make my PC at the time talk. And then moved into the 2000s with other PCs and things, but really made the jump to Mac a lot more full-time in 2012. And over that time, Mac has grown a lot too in its screen reader accessibility. So it's the voice of the computer along with your keystrokes, which there are about 200,000 of them, that enable me to know what's on the screen and know where I am in the system and the application that I'm using. So Apple's come a long, long way in that. And VoiceOver is the name of the screen reader, and it just had its 20th anniversary officially the other day. And so we are really appreciative of all that it brings to our Macs and our iDevices.
So, look, I'm going to go fishing and see what happens.
Sure.
But why did you decide? What was the impetus for making the switch from PCs to Macs? Because obviously you had already a great deal of expertise and knowledge built up on the PC side. Why would you move the whole way over to the Mac? Was it what they were doing at the time with accessibility, or something else?
Well, I live on all the platforms every day. And so I just love to dive into Apple, Android, PC, Mac. I live on all of them consistently throughout my day. But I loved my iPhone, which was first made accessible to us in 2009 in July when the 3GS came out. And my brother got me one for Christmas. And at that time, I was kind of underemployed and I could have never afforded it. And so I realized that night I was downloading apps and I loved the touch screen and the phone was talking and it was just fantastic. And I thought, this is a great platform. It's already built in. I don't have to buy a $200 screen reader for my phone as I did for my Nokia phone in 2006. It's crazy what we have to spend sometimes when we purchase technology to make the technology work. So given the platform was so accessible already, I thought, why not just go all in and be in the ecosystem where I know if I have files, emails, that sort of thing, I know how to get them. They're immediately accessible and saved for me on one platform. And I love to learn new things. And if there's a piece of new technology out there and somebody says, hey, Chris, there's this new thing, I'm like, okay, where can I sign up? So that's what I did. And so in 2012, I was self-taught, learned a lot from a gentleman named David Woodbridge out of Vision Australia when he was working there, and taught me a lot of what I know. So a lot of us are self-taught, but we love it.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Sometimes I'm a little embarrassed because sometimes I'm afraid I recoil from certain platforms who shall remain unnamed right here.
Right, exactly. Yep.
Well, let's swing over to the Macstock talk. What are you going to be presenting?
Thank you. Yes. So the title of my talk, when I heard about this, I thought, oh, yeah, this is what I need to do. So it's called Sharing Accessibly, Empowering Blind and Low Vision Mac Users with Inclusive Tools. And if I could add a subtitle, it's not just tech speak. It's jam-packed with a whole lot of wonderful accessibility tools, but an overarching philosophy and a lot of positive things that sighted people can take away, not just my niche community. Oh, isn't that nice? We have something for them, but it can, sighted people can take away that we can all make the world a better place if we have a need and we make it happen.
I think it's phenomenal that you're looking at it that way, because yes, maybe some of us don't have sight issues right now, but it seems, I don't know about you, but it seems like I hear more and more about macular degeneration.
Yes.
People developing it. I don't know if it's because lifespans have expanded, but that seems to be a more common thing, but you just never know what might be ahead for you. So, or people you love, people you care about, and then you need to help them. Today's MacVoices is supported by Notion, the best AI tool for work. Check it out at notion.com/MacVoices. I've been telling you about how I use Notion, but what's really transformed my workflow is Notion AI. It's like having a second brain that's actually organized. Whether I'm planning a new podcast episode, drafting episode descriptions, or just hunting down a note from 6 months ago, Notion AI has made the difference between juggling tabs and just getting things done. What really makes it click for me? Notion has top AI models like GPT 4.1 and Claude 3.7 Sonnet built right in. No separate subscriptions, no switching tabs. I ask a question and it pulls from my actual work, not generic web results. And with Enterprise Search, I can dig through docs, PDFs, emails, even my project tools, all from one place. It's like Command F for my whole digital life. Over half of Fortune 500 companies use Notion. The best teams, OpenAI, Ramp, Vercel, they're using it to move faster and work smarter. And who doesn't want to move faster and work smarter? Check out Notion, the best AI tool for work, right now at notion.com/MacVoices. That's all lowercase, notion.com/MacVoices. And when you use my link, you're supporting MacVoices. Try it today. Thanks to Notion for their support of MacVoices. When you say accessibility tools, are we talking hardware tools or software tools or just procedural tools?
Yeah, so in this case, it's a set of software tools, and it will make things accessible to me, but to other people as well. So just to give you an example, when in the early 1930s, the Talking Book program was established for blind people, you all immediately benefit from that almost 100 years later with audiobooks. So a need that we have can make everybody's world better. And so when I talk about these accessibility tools, I'm talking about 3 programs specifically. The first is the one that I use many times a week to work with my students, and it's by a company called Pneuma Solutions. That's Pneuma Solutions. And this first of these programs is called Remote Incident Manager. So if you're a blind or low vision person, and that's a mouthful, blind doesn't mean I can't see anything, although I can't. But blind means any level of vision that somebody has that they experience a print disability or have to find alternative ways of doing things. And so Remote Incident Manager allows me to connect seamlessly to another person's computer. If they have RIM, we'll call it RIM for short. If they have RIM installed, they can connect to another person's computer, whether that person has a screen reader running or not. Because we have been precluded from working in the tech fields to the extent that we possibly could because there were no accessible remote tools available to us. So when we use Remote Incident Manager, we open the program, give the person a keyword, much as you would expect from like Quick Assist, which is not accessible to us, by the way, as a controller remoting into a target. And so then we type a keyword, the other person types the keyword. We choose to establish a voice conversation or not. You can either talk voice to voice through your computers or you can be on speakerphone with someone. And then immediately I'm remoting into someone's computer. So in the fact that I can teach my students remotely, some of them live in other parts of the state where I live, and I can have a computer class with them. I can know what's happening on their computer. During the pandemic, I taught everything remotely for a year and a half. And when I would teach a Mac student, for instance, I would listen to what their computer was saying over the speakerphone and diagnose kind of what's happening. Where are they in their system? Did they accomplish the task that we were set out to do? If they didn't, what's the problem? And the only thing I have to go on is what I'm hearing. And then my knowledge of keystrokes and telling them, okay, you need to press, control option right arrow to go to the next item or whatever, because they have voiceover running. But with Remote Incident Manager, I'm immediately connected to their computer. I can tell what's going on. I can control the computer if needed. I can also transfer files. And then, interestingly enough, in some cases, I've not had the need to do this, but we can actually flip the session so they can actually be the controller and control things from their side. But the really beautiful thing about the Mac with this program is that you don't have to have a screen reader running on the target computer. So the person, if you want to help your grandma and she's, 88 and she got lost on her Mac computer, if you have this program and you're blind, grandma doesn't have to have a screen reader running. She might have magnification or some other thing, but you can remote into grandma's computer and you can help her out, but she doesn't need to have anything turned on. And that has been the real bottleneck for us, is not only were the programs of remote access not accessible to us, but if the person didn't have a screen reader running on their target computer, we were sunk. Also, I don't have to disclose that I have a disability because some people are not comfortable doing that. And so if you're a tech support person and you're blind, you don't have to say, oh, by the way, I'm blind. So like if things kind of hang up, don't worry about it. I'll get there. I don't have to say that. So that's the program that I use the most, Remote Incident Manager.
That's fascinating. And will you be able to be demonstrating this live as well as talking about it? Oh boy.
Yes, absolutely. So I know that's really, really important. I don't like to just talk about things. I think a demo just, speaks 1,000 words right there. And so I'm going to be recording a demo I'm so privileged with longtime podcaster of 20 years whose recent anniversary occurred, Allison Sheridan of Nocilla. And she and I are going to record a demo so that everyone can see this happening. We're figuring it out still, but we're going to demo this and play this video recording for the attendees so they can really see the power that someone can have and be able to do their job effectively. And so, yes, we're very excited about that.
So that's the only thing I have to question about is your choice of partners. With Allison, but that's a whole nother discussion. And anybody that listens to MacVoices or Allison's podcast knows that we're great friends, but yes. we're also like brother and the brother and sister that like to fight with each other.
Right.
So.
Yes. Okay.
This sounds like a fascinating session, and not just for someone that is interested necessarily in accessibility, but just in how technology opens the world up to folks who have some challenges. And from everything you're saying, you don't sound like you have many compromises to make. You just have to equip
No,
yourself with the right tools.
exactly. Yep, that's where it is. And if you know the tools exist, you can either tell people about them, share them. Just knowing that they exist raises the awareness of accessibility. And so that people think that they might think, well, I don't know a blind person. How am I going to benefit from this? Well, this company has also created, and they're a blind owned company, by the way. This CEO is Mike Calvo. And I want to say that he and I share an attitude that makes things move forward. As people who are blind, we don't just want things to happen, we make things happen. And I don't sit around wishing. I make the opportunities for myself, or I find tools that make those opportunities. And
I
so,
love
sorry,
I
go ahead.
love the attitude. I love the attitude.
Thank
It's one
you.
we could all learn from.
That's what I want to share with people, right? So if your circumstances have you down in the dumps and you're thinking, wow, I just wish this could happen for me. Yeah, I get that people get discouraged, but what can you do to move your own situation forward? So to that end, Mike and his company have created Scribe for Meetings, which is awesome because a lot of times when you're on a Zoom or a Teams meeting, the presenter shares documents that you, as a blind person, you can't access. You can't see the screen. The screen is not accessible to me when someone shares their screen. And if they don't happen to realize they have to be descriptive, oh, this, red box over here indicates something and such. I'm like, oh, what does the red box mean? Sorry. So, we can provide accessible meeting handouts. And so if a person signs up for the service, we know it has a subscription, but in all things involving remediation of documents and remediation of handouts and such, it does take a little work in the background, whether it's AI or human generated or remediated. But Scribe for Meetings allows me to get handouts that are accessible. So if I paste a meeting link to the Zoom meeting or the Teams meeting into the website Scribe for Meetings, then I immediately get downloaded handouts, and I can choose what kind of handouts I want, and they're in over 100 languages. They could be in audio, in Braille, in large print, Word, EPUB, MP3, any of that. And also, their program Scribe for Documents is along the same way. If the developer of the website or of the content embeds a particular link in their website, they can provide the blind or low vision user or somebody with a print disability. Maybe somebody has dyslexia. Maybe they have difficulty reading for some visual processing issue. They can take advantage of accessible documents. And it's called augmented digital remediation, which combines machine learning and human intervention. And so then that person can click the link on the website and immediately are given a choice of what kind of document they want to download that's immediately accessible. So whether it's a HIPAA compliant document, financial records, just an inaccessible PDF, something like that, you can have immediate access. And so the folks that run Numa Solutions have made things happen with a powerhouse of these three pieces of software that really move the needle for us and make our world more accessible.
Chris, there's so many questions I want to ask, and we could be here for a couple hours.
Sure.
But I'm super looking forward to this session and to
Thank
meeting
you.
you at Macstock and maybe asking a few of those questions off
Sure.
camera so I can become a little better educated, because I think this is something that so many of us, unfortunately don't think about until we have to, or until, our personal circumstances change, either for
Right.
ourselves or for a loved one. So I'm so glad you're coming and going to make us all aware of this.
Thank you.
I'm sorry about Allison, but that's the way it goes. Um, I'm going to hear about this later, I'm sure.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah, yeah. Mike Potter has been very kind and given all the speakers discount codes so that you can save $50 on attending Macstock Conference and Expo. Chris, what's your code?
Thanks for asking. I really appreciate that. It is C Cooke. So that's CCOOKE 50.
Great. Thank you. So I'll have that link in the show notes, obviously, and also on the screen as well. But go to macstockconferenceandexpo.com. Use Chris's code. My code's MacVoices50. I don't care whose code you use. I just want to see you at Macstock and learn from all the great people like Chris who are going to be there and presenting, and also to have all the fun we're going to have over that weekend, because that's equally an important part of Macstock, is having fun and meeting new friends like Chris, because Chris and I will meet for the first time. Mm-hmm. Chris, thank you so much. I'm really excited over this to learn and maybe get a completely different perspective on technology.
Thank you so much for having me.
Before we go, I want to make sure that I give you the opportunity to promote anything. I don't know if you have podcasts, websites, or social media presences that people could connect with you on.
Thanks for asking. I have a few podcasts that I'm a part of. There's a feed called Unmute Presents, and it focuses on accessibility for sure. But if you want to learn a few extras that you can benefit from, you'll find something there. But of special note is our feed for its own show called Digital Bytes, and that's BYTES. And we have that running. And then I have a podcast called At Your Fingertips, which is a Braille-focused podcast. But the Unmute Presents feed or Digital Bytes in its own feed will get you some shows about accessibility.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I will see you in Crystal Lake at Macstock in July.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Mac Voices. Again, MacVoicesConferenceandExpo.com to save $50 off with Chris's code or my code or any of the codes that any of the speakers have used. No, you can't stack them. Don't try that. It won't work. But at least it's $50 off. That pays for at least part of your room or just some other travel expenses. Most important, though, get there. Reserve your hotel now. Book your flight. We will see you in Crystal Lake. Until the next time on the road to Macstock, I'm Chuck Joyner. Thanks for watching.
Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.